Hello, you sloppy wet gapers. Jim Sterling here, and this is Titty Balls 2. Believe the hype. IGN.com. That's what they said to do. Do you believe the hype? I don't know, but this is Titanfall 2, the game that EA is too scared to let me play alongside everyone else. No, Jim Sterling, don't play this one. We're scared. That's how I'm going to frame it every single time now that it's more or less been confirmed to me. So EA was afraid of me playing this, and I'm not sure why, because I actually quite like the first Titanfall, even though everyone forgot it existed a week later, and Titanfall 2 is an expansion of that. It would be easy to say more of the same, but it is expanded. They've got a campaign, obviously. We got a little bit of footage of the campaign before we go into the multiplayer stuff. So this is the single player, the story mode, as it were, about a boy and his robot, more or less, and a lot of exploding robot spiders that are really annoying and get on my fucking tits. But them aside, it's a better campaign than I thought it would be. When I played the first level, I wasn't too keen on it. I'm like, this is just going to be one of those tutorials for the multiplayer type of situations. But the level design is good. A lot of effort's gone into it. The level that was just before I started getting the recorded footage, the level before this, a lot of moving platforms, as there are like these prefab houses being built, being put together, and you're doing all the wall running and double jumping and all this stuff. And it's really well designed, really frantic, fast-paced and everything. Sometimes the maps feel a little unintuitive. They're a bit sprawly and over-detailed, a lot of environmental bullshit that gets in the way, so you're not quite sure where to go, especially without pressing the button that lets you see where the destination is. And even then, sometimes it doesn't give you a real starting point for the route, so you can get a little lost. But anyway, it is a better designed campaign than I thought it would be. As you can see here, the level sometimes forces you out of your Titan, sometimes back into your Titan, sometimes here I don't know where I'm going because I'm an idiot. As I said, sometimes it's the map's fault, sometimes it's your boy Jim Sterling's fault. So we're just going to shoot these lizard dog things because they're around. There was a part of the first Titanfall that never really gets talked about because, everyone saw it as a game about beating up robots and doing first-person shooter stuff. But there was a lot of, aliens and stuff. A lot of alien animals and the like hanging out on the different planets you were fighting on. And it was stuff like that helped contribute to the world building for a world that never really mattered. It was odd. Just how much they designed the flora and the fauna of the game's universe. And because the story of the game was just sort of half-heartedly told through the multiplayer, you never really got a sense of what was going on, why anything mattered, who anybody was. This was a total waste of my rockets there. So that cheeky fuck just got round the wall. I should have gone the other way round and gone up there. There's a thing, a little ramp that I turn around and go up to after I fight him. I was doing it the silly way round here. But anyway, it was odd starting the campaign and just being introduced to the factions and everything, because even though it was all sort of there in the first game, who was paying attention? I remember there was a famous bit, I hesitate to use the word famous, but there was a quote-unquote famous bit in the first Titanfall where some guy sacrifices his life in one of the matches, one of the campaign-style multiplayer matches, and everyone's just, who? I mean, well done, you sacrificed yourself for the good of something, but we don't know why or what or who you are or why we care, why this matters. At least in this one, characters are introduced and exist as characters. There's quite a decent selection of villains, actually, that turn up. The mercenaries, they're always mercenaries, aren't they? Working for the evil terraforming corporation. It's always an evil terraforming corporation, isn't it? This was me just showing off the different weapons. As the campaign progresses, BT, the Titan, finds different weapons and I hate almost all of them except for the starting weapon. That's just the way I am. That's just personal preference. They're not bad, they're just not for me. So here is one of the villains. This is a boss. Fairly early boss anyway. I think it's early. Well, it's the second one I fought. Really cool design on her. Got kind of the robot bits and this mask. It's a good look. It's a good look for her. This was me just... there was a little edit there as I switched to the weapon I actually liked. Had no luck against her with the last weapon I picked up. Which one would assume the last weapon you pick up before fighting the boss would be the ideal one for them, but the starting weapon is... for me, the King of the Titan weapon. So far, I haven't tried everything yet. I mean, I only got the game last night. Purchased, because EA's scared of me. So yeah, bought it last night. Didn't get any of the special edition shit. Like, is it just me, or is that really not a good value prospect, at least at launch? Like, I was looking at it, and it was like, wait, you want me to pay you $80 now for shit you're saying's coming in December? No. No. That seemed to be most of the selling point of their special or deluxe or whatever they want to call it edition. Anyway, we're going to switch over to some multiplayer now. Here we go. So I haven't had time to really dig into the business side of this. I haven't had a look at how much money they want from you after launch in terms of DLC, fee to pay, any of those elements. It's certainly not being shoved down my throat as far as I can tell. But again, I haven't played too many matches. But as I'm leveling up, I'm getting upgrades at a decent rate. It's a fairly decent pace. So no complaints there so far, except for maybe the fact that a lot of aesthetic, cosmetic customization options are locked away behind challenges and level ups and that sort of thing. Which, I get it, you want to have some of that gated behind progress, but I'm always a fan of having at least a goodly few options to begin with customization, just so that, you know, everyone's looking a bit different, a little bit personalised, rather than everyone starting out looking exactly the same, which I just find a bit, you know, cosmetically boring. I think this was my first ever match. This was the first match I played last night. I kind of dived straight into the multiplayer rather than start with the campaign, which I don't often do, but since this is Titanfall, I figured I might as well jump into the multiplayer first, because it was always first and foremost multiplayer. So that's what I did. There we go. But yeah, it's got an interesting method of unlocking things, mostly cosmetics, because you got challenges, you know, kill a certain amount of guys with this gun to get a new skin for the gun, level up. Something about, I think there's some sort of prestige thing that unlocks a lot of costumes, but again, not looked into it fully yet. And there are these advocate gifts as well, these other unlockables that are awarded to you. There's a Colosseum, which I think I'm one level away currently from unlocking, where you fight one-on-one with another player, and if you win, you get an advocate reward, which, you know, is usually some extra special skin or something like that. And that all seems interesting. I've gotten 2 advocate rewards so far for doing something or other, I don't know, and got some neat skins. My pilot, I should say, currently has a nice blue look to it. And the pilots themselves get different things. This is the starting loadout, more or less. I didn't bother checking out different guns or different abilities or anything. My current loadout is the stim loadout. As you can see here, L1 for this starting loadout gives you a grappling hook, which I have no idea how to properly use. Also, I'd completely forgotten how to activate Titan weapons. It's been a long time since I played the first Titanfall for this first match, which is why I have no idea how to deal with this Titan. Obviously, you want to hold your weapon switch button to bring up the the anti-Titan weapon, which I did not do at all in this first match. More for me. Boo-hoo, sad gym times. But there you go. I managed to do alright, despite not knowing how to do an important part of the game at this point. Completely forgot. And I played a fair bit of the first Titanfall before I got bored along with everybody else. So, what was I saying before all this? I was still talking about upgrades and shit and loadouts. There's a ton of stuff, you know. Ton of different Titans, ton of different Titan weapons and upgrades and abilities and boosts. This grappling hook that I don't know how to use. I'm currently using the stim, which makes your pilot look fairly robotic, which I kind of like. You get little robot legs and stuff. You look a bit Deus Exy. And the stim, instead of the grappling hook, you press L1 and you move very fast and insta-heal, which is fairly useful. More useful for its speed than any healing, since this is the sort of game where you're not exactly getting a lot of health, you know. This isn't Quake. Would Quake be the right one to use? I guess. Got Halo, whatever. You know, it's closer to Call of Duty is basically what I'm trying to say. It's what I do, using references to other video games to try and sound clever and probably myself sound fucking thick. But anyway. Here I am just shooting a Titan with a normal gun like a fucking moron. Well. There we go. I deserve that. Yeah. But yeah, as I say, its baseline is more of the same, but I am impressed with the amount of effort they've put into adding content and adding stuff to do. Progress in some areas seems a bit slow. Like I say, you get a decent drip of content, but credits that you use to buy stuff, unlock stuff, especially unlocking stuff early, they come, at least in my early experience, very slowly. Very slowly indeed. This is amped hardpoint, by the way, if you couldn't tell. It's basic capture and hold stuff. I'm a big fan of the old capture and hold stuff. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that, but, you know, Call of Duty Domination and Conquest and Battlefield, and that I almost exclusively play them. I'm generally not a fan of other types. Standard death matches just don't do it for me anymore, which makes me sound like some sort of sex pervert who, you know, can't come unless, you know, it's very, very specific pornog now. But that's not the case. But anyway, I'm just saying, Team Deathmatch 2 vanilla now, not kinky enough. So I prefer capture and holding stuff. If only as well because I'm clearly, you've seen me play games, you've seen me play one here, or at least reporting on one, having played it last night. I am not great at killing stuff. In a one-on-one fight, in any game, the other person is probably going to win. So I like objective-based stuff, and I tend to do pretty well at stuff, even though I won't have a kill-death ratio worth a shit. I'll still score good points because I'm very objective-focused. So I like objective-focused matches. You know, capturing and holding and all that stuff. Part of the reason I think why I like games that let me play a medic role and actually rewards people for playing a medic role, again thinking of Battlefield and the like. There we go. Because, you know, it's indirect and it's supportive and it's not one-on-one aggressive. And that just works for me, because that's not where I live, really. Not really where I live. I captured a fair bit of footage, didn't I? That's alright, I'll think of more things to say as we get to the end of this 20-odd minute video. How are you all doing? How's your weekend so far? Me, I'm good. My weekend's going well. We finished filming all the stuff we have to film for the Gymquisition Halloween Special, which is going up on Monday, and I think it's going to be fun. I've seen some of the preliminary edits, and I'm super impressed. I work with a guy called Justin McDaniel, who did the current Gymquisition intro titles. Now I'm hitting my thing. Title sequence, and some various, like he did the Fuck Konami intro, and he did the Boglin Watch intro, and he is basically George Romeroing the shit out of what we filmed. Not that there are any zombies in what we filmed, it's not a zombie thing, but just the style of how Romero made things. And I'm not saying, you know, me and my team are George Romero. I wouldn't say that, mostly because I think George Romero isn't that great. But I do respect the man's style. I respect his just the free-form, loose way he did things. And I'm a bit of a loose boy myself, so we filmed a load of shit last weekend and last night. As much as we needed, a lot of it improvised, because I'm terrible at following the script. So we did a lot of improv to get the story across, of what we're trying to get across. And it's all being done in the editing. That's really... if you watched Red Letter Media's recent review video on Dawn of the Dead, then they talk about that, where the film is, as they say, made in the editing. And then they say that in general about cinema anyway, about how important editing is, but seeing it firsthand, seeing the rough, just the mass of shit we shot, and then what Justin did to bring it to life, it's impressive. It really is impressive. And that is kind of how Ramiro did it. Again, if you watched the video Mike and Jay at Red Letter did, it's just film, get as much as you need, or think you need, and then let editing sort it out, and make it coherent. And I've been very impressed with Justin's work, and I highly recommend him if you've got any video editing project. I know some video artists and whatnot to watch this. If you ever need a guy to do that sort of thing, graphic design, editing, all of that, highly recommended. Highly recommended. This, by the way, is, what's the exact name of this match? Bounty Hunt or something like that. You get cash for kills, and you go and deposit those caches. Sorry, that sentence came out of my fucking stupid mouth so bad. Oh, you deposit those caches. Sorry, I'm way too amused at my own idiocy there. You rack up as much cash as you can by killing NPC characters and enemy players, of course, and bounties, which I think are NPC Titans. Like I said, I've only played a couple of matches so far, so I'm not entirely sure. What the hell's that noise now? Oh, he's next door doing his fucking yard when I'm trying to work. Of course he fucking is. Sorry if you hear any background noise there, folks. Fucking neighbour doing fucking yard work. Anyway, it's kind of a wave-based thing against NPCs, and also enemy players. And the banks close during the waves, but when the waves are done, you can run to these two banking areas and deposit the cash. If you die, you lose half the cash, and it's a race between teams to deposit as much cash. That was a very roundabout, not helpful explanation of something you probably worked out just from watching it. Yeah. So, and again, this was my first, I want to say this was my first bounty match, so I was just, this is me kind of learning how the whole thing's set up and how it works. Here I am preparing for my Titaned balls. And there we go. I really like the animation in this game. That's something that should be said. I like the way the Titans are animated and everything, and the transition animations from, you know, pilot ground level to in the robot. It's just, it feels like it's got a bit more personality this time around than it did last time, although some of that may be informed by me having seen the campaign and how they animate the Titans in that, which obviously has a little bit more, a little bit more proprietary animation than the multiplayer, which is a bit more stock. But everything just feels just a bit more energetic. That said, right now, if I'm to compare this negatively at all to the last Titanfall, something about the maps this time just doesn't quite grab me. At least the ones I've seen so far. I really liked the maps in the first Titanfall, the desert and the city level. Here everything looks just a bit too, I don't know, a bit too fake, I guess would be the word. I'll need to have a proper think about that criticism as I mull it over and as I play the game some more. But yeah, I just don't feel quite as immersed in the maps as I did last time. But then again, I got quite familiar with the maps last time, so maybe I'm just missing them. And I know that some DLC, one of those December DLC things they're promising, is a fan favourite map coming back. And if you spend $80, part of what you get is early access to one of those maps. Fuck me. I mean, that's going to be a whole thing, isn't it? That new thing they're doing, like they did with Battlefield 1, where it's like, pre-order the early enlister edition or whatever it was to get early access to the game. A game that released on Friday when most games come out on Tuesday/Wednesday. So it wasn't so much early access, it was play it on the normal day while everyone else gets it late. What is that lately? Like games coming out on Fridays? Is that the industry just trying to normalise Friday releases so that they can all start doing this pre-order the deluxe edition for a Tuesday release? Like, I got this feeling that's what they're doing. That was just a sad spawn that happened there. That was a sad time in my face and head. But anyway, lost some money, it doesn't matter. Along we go, along we trot. Wanting to deposit that fat loot. Stole a bonus. Put in a little bit of money and then got shot. That's how that went down. You all saw how that shook down. At least I deposited the money before I got killed. That was nice. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Definitely enjoying it. Titanfall... The first Titanfall I got pretty decent at. And I don't say that lightly, because, you know, I make fun of my own ability to play games, or at least competitive games like this, almost as much as you see me be bad at them. Typically I'm a bit better when I'm playing, I say that as I'm getting my face stabbed off, typically a bit better when I'm not trying to talk and play at the same time, but you know, not great. You know, I always hover around the middle in terms of player scoreboard and everything. But Titanfall, the first one, once I got used to the way it operated with all the jumping and the running and everything, I felt like I was getting pretty damn good at it. And I'm trying to get back into the groove again. And I'm doing alright, I guess. Funnily enough, never as good in a Titan. For a game called Titanfall, I never feel as good a player in one of the Titans as I am as a pilot. Just, I don't know, being that big a target, and there's always this pressure to perform better, because you're in a big fucking... It's like being the tank in Left 4 Dead, you know. You're the big powerful thing, all eyes are on you to actually do something useful with yourself. And I kind of cave to that, well, cave under that, rather. God, there's a lot of background noise I'm hearing in my office now from outside. Hopefully the microphone isn't picking up too much of it. Again, apologies if it does. So we are... There's still got a fair bit of this match to go. This will be the last match that I'm showing you today. I did capture some more stuff. Maybe we'll just look at that another time, I don't know. Of course, as you can see, it's PS4 footage. You can be sad about that if you want. I've talked about that stuff many times before. Nowadays, I only bring it up just to be an annoying dick and compound the fact I'm using console footage, which annoys some people. I remember at this bit because out loud I said to myself, "Oh fuck, he's coming back." Thought I'd just take a few shots at that Titan's ass, and then they turned around. Fighting big robots. What fun. I was going to spend this whole weekend just doing horror games and horror-themed videos, but the video I was doing is doing some early access horror game, and it was actually surprisingly good, but I had to window out of it just to check on something quickly, and then that fucked everything up, and it fucked up the recording. So maybe I'll give it another go tomorrow, give it another try. Until then, we got some Titanfall tiding us over, and that'll do for the moment. But tomorrow I want to go super big on the old I had a brief pause as I lost my train of thought, but once I got it back, it had been long enough to where I thought it'll be funny if I just don't talk for longer than I should. That's what that little moment was just there. That was me being quiet to an awkward amount of length for my own personal amusement, and I hope that was fun for you. Anyway, tomorrow I'm planning to, any content I do, if I do, hopefully I do, any do I do will be spooky do, so that'll be fun. Maybe get some horror game Gimpressions done, maybe do something on the Gimquisition website. I do know I've got to get a review done, of course, of Skyrim, and which I decided I'm not going to bother doing a video of. 5-year-old game, innit, with 5-year-old bugs in it. I'll talk about that now, actually. I'll get that out of the way. Yeah, it looks better, and, you know, it's got all the content, and you can do mods on consoles. That's exciting. But 5-year-old bugs. I'm like, that was terrible. That was me being too cocky. That was me wanting to get a melee kill on someone who, like, clearly I could have just shot to death. That death actually makes me angry at myself. But anyway, back to Skyrim's. Oh, that was just pathetic. Anyway, back to Skyrim's. Yeah, I got a quest to talk to a Jarl and stuff. And the quest marker stays on him, can't talk to him. Look it up. Of course, it's an ancient fucking bug. It's as old as the game itself. And it's just there. And it's looking like they didn't do any extra QA in the past 5 years. I was going to say 2 years. That'd be bad. But 5 years, even worse. Past 5 years of fucking nothing fixed from the looks of things. That's just kind of not acceptable. It's like Bethesda gets a lot of forgiveness for glitches and bugs and whatnot. A lot of forgiveness. You know, maybe a bit more than they deserve. But I fully admit I tend to forgive their bugs. It's like if the game's not 100% broken for me, I like the game's world and the size of it enough to where I will forgive some glitches and stuff. I find the experience of playing a Bethesda game good enough to overlook it. But, you know, Skyrim's a game I've experienced many times before now, so at this point, I can't just shrug my shoulders and say, oh, well, it's Bethesda, what are you going to do? It's like, well, no, Bethesda have had 5 years to do a lot, you know. Also, it doesn't look as great as the trailers made it look. My friend Louis was pointing that out this morning. It, you know, again, looks better, does not look as good as they were selling it. There's a little bit of watch dogsery going on there. Plus the, you know, at least on console, character models look like gash. Like, the enhanced graphics just let you know how gash the characters looked. And I never say gash often. So that says a lot. It doesn't say anything, really. Anyway, this match is about wrapping up. But yeah, Skyrim, it's fun to play Skyrim again. I love Skyrim. I don't apologise for that. I know it's popular to hate on Skyrim, especially in a post-Witcher 3 world. Witcher 3 I also really like. But I unapologetically still love Skyrim. But the new version is, it's good. It's still good. The game itself I still think is marvellous. But I'm a bit disappointed that the improvements are not quite the improvements I would have hoped for. Not the important improvements. I would have said bug fixes would have been the most important thing. They would have been for me. But there you go. Oh, the video's gone. Titanfall 2. It's, yeah, it's good. I like it so far. That wasn't 20 plus. That was like 30 minutes. Fuck.